We had originally planned for a tax freeze for this year, and what people will actually see is a decrease in their taxes this year. Not very much, $10 or so on the year, but a small decrease. Now, what council didn't do, though, is that they didn't return that money forever. Council really felt that they needed more information to think about 2018 and forward. So basically what they've done is they've deferred the decision on 2018 and all future years on this money, but it is being returned this year.
Just to follow to the rebate, why did you vote to refund that?
Look, this was a tough one for me because going into today, I would have said, it's not very much money. Let's not even open this can of worms. Let's just pass it through to the taxpayer this year. But I actually heard some really compelling arguments that we should make that decision for this year, but we shouldn't make that decision for all future years until we have more information, and particularly until we have a full budget for the Green Line. So I actually think today's outcome was a pretty good one. It was procedurally very confusing, but what it ended up saying was, yeah, this year we're returning those funds to the taxpayer. I should stop using that term because I think Councillor Pincott makes a good point when he says the taxpayer gets these funds every day in police service and 911 and clean water and everything else we do. But we decided to put those back to the taxpayer on their tax bill for this year and allowed this council and the next council to be able to make a decision with what they want to do for every year going forward. And I thought that was probably a fair way of doing it.
Well, I want to talk about the Green Line. Is it in jeopardy if financing isn't found?
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would suggest that when you're looking at a $4.5 billion or more project, and particularly with the city's funding over 30 years, it takes a lot of money to pay the interest. And so there's only two ways to do that. You either find a new source of funding, or you cut back on the original capital cost and use the money that's already been set aside for financing. And as we know, council's design decisions on this have not tended towards the cheaper designs. So as a result, it's going to be very hard to cut back the set-aside money to pay for the interest. And that's really something that we've always known, but today council got a chance to really think about what the scope of that is, what the context of it is.
So that was all in camera. Is there like a ballpark figure of what the annual interest cost is? Like,
lots.
What is lots?
Lots. The issue here has to do with the fact that the city's money is over 30 years. So the annual interest on that alone is in the tens of millions of dollars a year. So the question then becomes, for the federal and provincial portions, over what period of time will those be paid out? And obviously, if it's, the federal government has announced an 11-year time frame, the difference between 11 years and 30 years could be hundreds of millions of dollars.
And is that big decision in June that kept being referenced, that's the full alignment, or what is it?
It's the full alignment. And once we've got the full alignment in place, then we'll really have a sense of what the total budget is.
You said the Green Line interest is a lot. What sort of dent would that, about $24 million per year going forward, like what would that make with the Green Line?
A significant one.
Okay.
Yeah, it really would make a big difference. It's $24 million a year, so obviously that would make a significant dent in it, and it would actually really assist the province in thinking about what their total funding is, I think.
Some people would say that $10 a year, whatever it is on your taxes, why not just put it into the rainy day fund? Why not just use it? Wouldn't that make more sense?
Yeah, this year we have really dipped into the rainy day fund for a number of reasons, to cap business increases for businesses outside of downtown core and others, because it's raining. And so to me it made sense, since we didn't have a specific use for those funds for this year, rather than just sock them away, let people decide what they want to do with them for this year and let council decide what to do with them for the long term.